Welcome to another episode of the Drexel Dragons podcast. I'm joined today by two guests, Kayla Bacon and Jeffrey Cunningham, who are co-presidents of the Drexel Black Student Athlete Union. Kayla, Jeffrey, thank you both so much for taking the time. And Kayla, I'll start with you, and Jeffrey, we'll get some of your perspective on this as well. But take me back to the beginning of this process and what was the motivation and inspiration for you guys in creating this organization?
Really, it started with Kelsey Lidge coming up with the idea and being our liaison between student athletes and our staff department. Basically, just wanting to develop a group that creates a safe space for diverse students to speak on issues that was really present during the summer, as far as like Black Lives Matters movement and then the George Floyd situation and things like that. We really just wanted to focus on creating a space that student athletes could come in, speak comfortably on their experiences, and learn over the time. So we put together this group, and we have a couple people in it now, and it's really great.
Well, and Kayla, I know you're obviously working closely with Kelsey because of the relationship on the Drexel women's basketball side of things. But then, Jeffrey, how do you come into the fold, and what was your connection at that time?
Absolutely. So around the time after the incident with George Floyd, Kelsey reached out to me, and we decided to get a group together and discuss, how we were feeling about the current situation that our country was in. And I think we can all agree that over this quarantine, our country was in a state of high stress. And this group was very necessary in order to make sure that everybody in our university has the opportunity to express their feelings on a platform where people are going to pay attention and actually have motivation to make change.
And for, with those concepts in mind, right, take me to the early days of those talks, what you guys wanted the organization to be about and how you got the ball rolling to actually get things together, formalized, and start organizing into what it's become now.
It really just started out with us reaching out to other student athletes that we knew and asking them like, hey, would you guys be down with joining a group like this and, supporting our Black community? Because as student athletes, we kind of get overlooked. We're the minority often. So it's like we meet each other on occasion, but we really don't get the chance or opportunity to really know each other. So this was another opportunity to get to know each other as student athletes and as people outside the court and off the field and things like that. So it really just started out as like a small group chat, an email chain, like, hey, do you guys think we should do this? And, we got a couple people joining in, like, yeah, we probably should. And then after that, Kelsey Lidge really met with the department and really got the ball moving. So.
And for you guys, and maybe Jeffrey, you could jump in here as well. What would you say the why is, like the why behind you creating this organization and why you feel it's so important to have this platform?
I would say my personal why is I want to make sure that the next Jeffrey Cunningham who comes into the golf team is going to have the support that he needs. And that goes for any other sport in our department. I think the why is to make sure that everybody is good in the sense of family, in the sense of understanding, and in the sense of respect. And so that was my personal why. But I think when we review our reasons for making this union, you could go for days for the why.
And then Kayla as well, if you want to jump in there with your personal why as well.
I kind of agree with Jeffrey, just wanting to create a space where, freshmen can get introduced to other student athletes, know that we have people that look like us in our department and people that you can reach out to if you are going through something, and we'll be there to talk to you and support you. Because just like my freshman year, I didn't get to meet a lot of other student athletes, but knowing that there are a whole bunch of people here that experience the same things, and knowing that, if we can band together, we can get through this.
Well, and with that in mind, obviously right now we live in such a unique time in the world where a lot of stuff is through Zoom only. So with that being the case, what is the content you're trying to push right now in order to draw people to what you're doing, and what are you trying to create with the current platform in this COVID space right now?
Well, I would say that this Zoom atmosphere that has been created over the pandemic we can use to our advantage. It's been so easy to reach out to fellow members in our Drexel community and have them hop onto a call and discuss the things that we need to in a quick amount of time. And so although, yes, it's not the conventional way of doing things, we have been using Zoom and social media to our power during this pandemic.
And when you think about the core values that you're trying to instill or establish, for the Drexel Black Student Union, right, the Student Athlete Union, excuse me, what are those core values that you want to build upon? Because from there, if an organization is going to have longstanding, it needs solid core values. What are you emphasizing as the core values of your organization?
We're emphasizing community, cultural awareness, diversity, and inclusion, just basically creating a space where we can learn as much as possible about each other and about what's going on in the world, and being able to inform others with issues that are arising like daily, weekly, monthly. So it's more so a place where we can stay informed and continue to learn and continue to make changes in our department which needed to be heard. On
the topic of issues that you already have discussed, what have been some of the issues that have come up that have been, taken precedent early on, and issues that you have spoken either at length or briefly already with people who are already a part of your organization?
Well, I think the main issue that we are attacking right now is understanding one another. And because I think that's something we lack just from the way that we have been brought up in this society. We don't really take in-depth looks to other people's history that built this country. And so when you have a situation like that and you're not paying attention to the wide aspect of how we are where we are today, you are obviously going to disrespect a group of people because you don't know about them. And so my theory is the more you know about somebody, the more you respect somebody. And so my goal is to have all student athletes, we're inviting all student athletes to come and have a forum to understand one another. And so that's one of the first issues that we're attacking within our community, along with many others that KB can offer.
Yeah, and Kayla, if you want to take the lead there as well, or take the jump off of, kind of piggybacking off what Jeff is saying there.
Yeah, a couple of issues that we were talking about, like Black Lives Matter movements, like why is it important, or like how people just feel about it, like the pros and cons of the movements. Recently, we just touched on the issues going on in the Asian community with attacks on Asian American lives and things like that. And, we bring in people to discuss these things with us because, we are as educated as we should be. So we bring in adult superiors that come in and teach us these things. And we also have a diverse amount of people in our group, so they put their 2 cents in. So like Jeffrey said, it really is about understanding and respecting each other.
And, I know yesterday you had a guest speaker on a Zoom call, Dr. Vincent Williams. And, obviously when this airs, this, will not have been yesterday, right? This will probably be a couple of weeks from then. But how did you get in contact with Dr. Williams? What was his message to you guys? And how did that come about for a conference call on Zoom?
I personally had class with him my freshman year, and I loved him as a professor. He teaches African-American literature. So he's a first-year student English teacher, I believe. And he just has really great connections between students of our generation and like past historical events. So we just reached out to him. I thought of him when we were looking for a guest speaker. So we reached out to him and he came on, and he really made connections between the past and the present, which was really interesting because like he really grabbed our attention by using information that, like our generation is really up to hip with, and tying it to the connections of like the slave narrative and Jim Crow laws and the history of Black Americans throughout this time here in America. So I think he did a really great job of just making those connections and making an easy conversation. It wasn't a very heavy conversation, but you could still hear his perspective on what he meant.
And do you have any other calls like that or Zoom meetings that you're planning in the near future? Is there anything on the docket? What's kind of, in the foreseeable future for you guys in terms of events or guest speakers that you're trying to invite to talk to you?
Yes, so we plan to have more guest speakers come in and create dialogue within our community. But one thing that we are doing is we will be inviting coaches online to our Zoom meeting calls, so that we will be expanding this conversation to the department and where it needs to be, because they are the ones that we are interacting with on a daily basis, and they are the ones that need understanding between ourselves and them. And so I think bringing our student athletes and the department together in a call to have this dialogue with guest speakers is going to be something really great in the foreseeable future.
And then taking a more long-term view of things, let's say a year or two down the line. I know you guys are seniors, right? But what's the long-term vision of how you want things to pan out? And I know, let's assume things eventually get back to normal. We're living in a non-COVID world. What would be going on a weekly or maybe a bi-weekly basis? Where do you envision this going in the future?
Long-term wise, we obviously want our group to expand. Right now we're a little small, but it's first year. So hopefully we're looking to expand, and in a non-pandemic world, we'd love to gather, love to host social events so that all student athletes can come and join with us and just have open dialogue about what's going on, and obviously have some community give back events, and then also just travel a little bit down to the East Coast and see like Black History museums. Like we're planning on doing a trip to DC, but obviously not now, but it's something that we'd want to do yearly. Have celebrations for Martin Luther King Day and just whole events for our athletic department throughout the year.
Are there, and just because I'm curious, are there other at other schools, Black student athlete unions that you've spoken with, that you've communicated with? Are there other organizations that exist like that across the country right now who you've reached out to and tried to communicate that already exists?
Yes, there are unions like us that exist all over the country, and we will use them to spread our message. I remember there was a situation in Nigeria, and there still is a situation in Nigeria where they are dealing with a corrupt government, and so we were trying to develop a way to spread that message so that people in the United States would be understanding the turmoil that was being caused over there in Nigeria. And so one of the ideas was to reach out to these other Black student athlete unions, SAC unions, and other unions that would be willing to help spread the word. So absolutely, that is something that we are doing.
And in terms of spreading the word, where can you guys be found right now? Where can people who are watching this or listening to this podcast right now, where can they find the Drexel Black Student Athlete Union if they go on social media or if they're searching on the web? Our
Instagram tag is bsau.drexel. So you can find good information there. We're building our social media presence, so stay on the lookout for our posts.
Yeah, I'm sure I could put that in the description, and I'm sure we could put that in a lower third as well down below and make sure you guys get that publicity and we pump that out there.
Right.
And I guess just closing remarks, and we've hit on it already, but what do you see, or what would you tell people is a reason that they should follow you guys on social, a reason to get involved? Why is this such a big deal in the pressing future, in the immediate future, to get involved with this organization?
Well, I would say now is the time to be informed and stay informed, and that's something that we will do for you. We've got some great leaders within our group that have been around the Drexel community for 3-4 years, and they want to help. We want to help the freshmen coming in, and we want to help them get settled so that they can perform at their best academically and physically in whatever sports that they are playing. And so in order to do that, you have to be in a community where you are able to grow. And that is something that we will do for you. We will keep you informed and we will keep you connected.
And to that point, Jeff, who are some other people in the community? Because I know you and Kayla are co-presidents, but who have been some other people at Drexel? I know you've given Kelsey Lidge a shout out, but other names that have been helpful early on in getting this established?
Well, there's been so many names, so I hate it if I'm missing out on any. But Jason Arthur, who has been an unbelievable swimmer. I don't know much about the swim team history here, but that's got to be one of the best swimmers that we've ever seen in our university, and he has been such a help in spreading the word and supporting. We have Juliana Rogers on the rowing team. KB helped me out here.
We also have Paige Powell. She's also a swimmer. And then from the staff sides, there's Jack Gannon, and then there's Brandon. Not sure his last name, but
Brandon Johnson.
Brandon Johnson.
BJ, give my man a shout out. I love that man. Give him a big shout out. He's my guy.
Carter on the rowing team.
Yep, and so, Zach also from swim.
Zach Venezuela.
It's all good, man.
And so yeah, we've had support from all the teams, and we appreciate their support. Them coming in and joining our meetings, joining the discussion, and we can't wait to grow the discussion.
In a world where we don't have to worry about COVID, what would be a traditional meeting place, or what would a meeting you think look like when we get to that point when things start to get back to normal again?
A traditional meeting place probably would be somewhere in the DAC, but we want to get our meetings jumped off with a really great event. So like we're looking to do like a cookout, a welcome cookout, and a leave-in cookout in the fall, and then one in the spring, just to gather people. People love to talk around food, just to have a great night and just encourage people to come out and support the community.
Right. Well, that's pretty much all the questions I had for you guys. And, we touched on a lot of things here. I'm really happy that you guys started this. This is a cool organization you got going on. Is there any last second stuff you guys want to plug other than your social media?
Just want to shout out Kelsey Lidge, Brandon Johnson, and Jack Gannon for really putting this together and getting us connected with the staff.
Well, Kayla, Jeff, thank you guys so much for taking the time. I'll be sure to make sure that your Instagram for the Drexel Black Student Athlete Union is listed in the description below, as well as a lower third. And we'll pump this on social media and make sure you guys get some attention for the work that you're doing. But appreciate you guys again for taking the time tonight to come on the podcast.
Sounds great. I appreciate it, Chris.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Chris. Thank you so much.
It was impressive stuff.